Hi guys, Troublmaker here playing Pillars of Eternity, and I am in the Sanitarium, which is located in the Brackenberry, and I am doing the quest, no, not that one. There we go. The Man Who Waits, which requires me to find the place of misery and madness, which turns out is possibly here. You get this quest as part of the main quest line from the cult of Woldika, and talking to the statue will help me. So he says, I could have done without hearing that today. Many have their intrusions been into our affairs. Of course, one can seldom be certain whether they've meddled or... Oh, I got sneeze. Phew! God, that was a huge sneeze. Whether calamity has struck on its own, but a few of their less skilled infiltrators have been exposed from time to time. They are a perpetual nuisance. Once again, I am reminded of how envious I am of your gifts. I suspect they would be of some use in verifying one's identity. They are at odds with the London Key as well, I take it. They have something I need. I hope it isn't knowledge you seek. They are seldom keen to part with it. Do you have some idea of who this person might be? I suspect it's a patient. Very well. In that case, I would recommend you speak first to our resident animancers. They have frequent interactions with both patients and colleagues. You'll find them up here, or in their office downstairs. You'll report anything suspicious to me immediately. This is my only request. Okay. So we have to find people to talk to. This guy talks, does he? No. He talks about the Biowick. He seems to be some sort of teacher, but he does not talk. Okay. Anybody on this floor? I don't think anyone here talks. I think I've actually been through a lot of this. That guy is a pure to the soul type. Yeah, I don't want to do that. That would be terrible. No, no one here. Okay, I guess I have to go downstairs. So off we go downstairs. To talk to people, perhaps. So downstairs there are 3 or 4 rooms, and I've already spoken to 2 for different quests, so I'll be checking out the other 2 for this one. And as always, mea culpa for all these loading screens. It is not my fault. And so these 2 doors are done. I did those. Now for here. Ripley, as in Alien versus Predator, or just Alien. I'm investigating any suspicious activity in the sanatorium. Oh, I'm just Master Azo's assistant. He'd knew more about that, but he's in the middle of an busy with some patients. You won't be able to see him until he comes from the patient ward. Is Azo busy with patients, or is he running some sort of experiment? I'm just an assistant. It's not my place to gossip, I'm sorry. How do I get into the patient ward? Only Master Azo has access. I guess Head Warden Ethelmower does too, but he's, a statue now. What are you doing here? Helping... That's weird. This is actually a quest that I already completed. So it turns out that this guy is bad. He's a bad guy. So back to the statue again, which means another freaking loading screen. I have a mosquito bite in the most awkward place possible. Along your neckline, just feel it. There's usually kind of a square that kind of forms. And as you get towards the skull, in between the 2 points, there's a bump there from a mosquito bite. So maybe is Cadman Azo running experiments on patients here? Experiments? Cadman Azo is in charge of patient welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Cadman. I had hoped he would be one guy to inquiry. Okay, so this is all very high and mighty. Back down we go to the next level of loading screens again. See, biggest complaint that everyone seems to have with this game. Just loading screen, loading screen, loading screen, loading screen. You think you're playing this on an Xbox with the number of loading screens that it has. Skyrim doesn't even have this many loading screens, and it's freaking Skyrim. So it looks like I'm allowed in. Okay. What do you know about the Animator Azoa? Oh, I like him very much. Many Animators could care less about their patients, look at us like vermin for their experiments. But Master Azo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself. I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad that they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. What happened to Azo? They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Direwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy, but that's hogwash. Even if he was a bit of a showman, he loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work. Suspect his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he figured out a way to create a soul. Not exactly a soul, mind you. How did he put it? A proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine? The point is, he was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. God knows that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty little babies in Andra's gift? No, tell me. They call them buoys, because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. These are mad times. Anyway, Master Azo has scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And then the next day he was locked in his office, turning away visitors. I heard he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened. I don't know have heart to ask him, but I'm glad they're letting him treat people again. Do you know where I can find him? I think it's been around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of the time there lately. If any patient's been acting unusually, well, there's Batista, who lives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Edelman, who they say only has half a soul and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands and wails at night sometimes, different from normal behavior. Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing you didn't volunteer for. Master Azo lets us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and will be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward has some of our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter there since it started. Would I be able to visit North Ward? They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow visitors. Just ask Master Azo. Okay. Now we must speak to the doctor. Okay, that was a fake wall. And the doctor said, no more monkeys jumping on the bed. Hey, it's Captain Azo.
What is the meaning of this?
Alright. Ethelmower told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. Yes, well, Ethelmower hasn't done much good for anybody since he has his soul transformed into an inanimate object. So I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If animators are all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backwards and willfully ignorant as Rixaris. We would know nothing about life, or death, or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clue as to why. I never thought I'd find myself in agreement with the statue, but Ethmo was right about this fellow, at least. How easily ambition masquerades as prudence. I'll bet he's fooled even himself. Surely there are other paths that don't involve risking lives.
Many lives have been spent in such pursuits, writing treatises and poems. But tell me this, how does one verify the truth of a poem? If some philosopher stumbled across the meaning of our existence, how would we know it from a false one? These are wasted lives. In animancy there is progress. We are measurably closer to complete understanding because of our work. And that will be true until our work is complete. Who will solve Widewen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an animancer, or it will be no one at all.
I'd like access to the North Ward. I have the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. So I can... Perception. Your forehead seems damp all of a sudden. Perhaps I should discuss your insubordination with the head warden.
How dare you come down here and meddle? You have no idea the importance of my research. Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
Okay. So, now to find the North Ward. These look like open cells, probably where people live. Ooh, well, seems to be neutral flesh construct here and there. Is this my face? Tell me. Oh, it must be the crazy guy who steals people's faces. Thundering sky, rain of blood. Innocence must be drawn. Or maybe he's a murderer. It could both be. I need to ask you some questions. Stop making any noises. You're afraid. Do certain visitors make you afraid? It's peered into his soul. I should have probably read all that stuff. Okay, what did I miss out on? Look into the soul of a half-crazed patient named Graham revealed strange behavior by a boy at the far end to the north. And it's paused randomly. Okay, so he's here by himself, creepy as is. And a widowy adolescent boy stands in the center of his cell. Gawkish and stoop-shouldered, he stares straight ahead. The occasional blink his only movement. It is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, dull-like eyes. Reach into his soul. You close your eyes and edge forward towards the boy's soul, and as you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering and straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It's predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to reattract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You're standing in a cell now, the same cell in the sanatorium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, and revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes usual rounds. The same stops every time, the misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing it of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you, collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly, you think to yourself, quickly, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart towards the makeshift abomination. That was a very poorly constructed sentence. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and contained in this new vessel. You are strong again. You step heavy-footed down the corridor, unheeded by the other constructs, and scrutinized only by the way, untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office, piled with books of scribbled papers and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsetting alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them, and they disclose into blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tiered seats of the amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you into a machine, Dr. Oza, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakably those of a little girl. But this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous. Unlike the others, this has no soul of its own. The man speaks to the crowd, applauds with enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says, and he pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the side of the man's brow. But the crowd's appreciation quickly gives way to the awe as a crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve and the glows crawl through a tube along a length of copper wire that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and setting and playing puppeteer for Hollowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back at the crowd. "Behold!" he says, but there is obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly you take the plodding step forward, and then another and another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he asks in a volume meant for the crowd, and this is the moment at the top of your lungs you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes towards you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down onto the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panicked screams from the crowd, and by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from the surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes. Deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive with a tall device encompassing the agile monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to the reality. The once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistaking now that it is the soul that of Faust Ix Arcanon, the man you have been searching for, that gazes out from that burrowed husk. A watcher. You made me into a watcher. I need you to undo it. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and it seems for the moment that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what he is about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look, your hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backwards with startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is suddenly no malice, only dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal, and then suddenly he slumps forward. He dead. He is not dead. He is taken over various things. Looks like literally Hitler's completed a thing and got experience. It's awesome. And all these doors are opening, so it looks like we'll have a minor big battle coming up. Okay. I don't know how powerful these things will be. Definitely very slow. Or more appropriately, who will be the weak ones? Who will be the powerful ones? I don't think I've actually encountered any of these. Jeez, there's just... They just keep coming, don't they? That's grand. That's the friendly old chap who might be a savior. Looks like the crazed patients are pretty easy to kill. Let's see if we can get a successful knockback. I can get another shot at that one. Let's see, we're at 3. Let's get some skeletons out. I don't think I'll be able to reach 4 in time. Okay, we'll do the book slap on this guy. Book slap, bitches! Okay, so none of these guys are particularly powerful, actually it seems. Able to kill them within 5 chance, which is 6 chance, sorry, which is how I measure the length of battles. Well, let's see what we have here. That's been completed, no biggie. Doing the build, 23 hours until the next one. Time does not pass very quickly in this city because moving between zones is very, very quick. Oh, actually I have a level up here. Well, let's see what I get from this. So one thing I've been trying to do is actually distribute points appropriately to cover more territories than I would have before. Still going to go with the biases, obviously, but, you know. Only with mace, greatsword? That sounds crappy. Alright, we'll use that Brilliant Radiance. No class spells. So anyway, I'm trying to get them all more leveled out because the initial stat boost was awesome. Don't get me wrong. But it does damage now. But initially it became kind of a bad thing. Rather unfortunate, really. See, looks like all these flesh constructs are pretty easy to kill. What's up here? More flesh constructs. Probably just intended to slow me down a bit. Oh, here's a room with something. I don't know how powerful these wicks are going to be, though. Maybe if I have my melee out front, perhaps. Oh boy. Taking actual damage. Burn! Yeah, they're not bad either, actually. None of the stuff has loot, except for this wick here. Some wick skin. Loves it. Looks like all the flesh contracts have killed off all the inhabitants here. So there is stuff to loot, but it's just dead bodies. Going on the creepy side here. Another construct. There's like a whole room on the other side here that I missed out on. Whoa boy. None of my guys are attacking. Hey, what's in this little room here? It's like a dead end. Oh, there's not a corpse here to loot. Taking all his monies. This I can loot as well. Some good old golem skin. Vessel flesh. 190 gold. If I was in a dungeon, I would assume everything here is trapped, but I'm not in a dungeon. Okay, so that's all cleared out. But this here, if any of these people turn into evil beings? Looks like they're all fine. Anything in here of value? Just leads me to the entryway. Oh, back to this guy's place. What have you done? I don't have time for this.
What is it now?
Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? You've been experimenting on patients against their will, mangling their souls. I've witnessed it with my own eyes. How could you possibly Look, it had to be done. Ethmower and others, they took everything from me. Everything. When I was this close, I had to know. I had to know where I failed and why. I'm going to expose you for what you are. Yay, another guy to kill. Kill him quickly. That was very quickly, actually. Didn't even get one cast off. And from this we got a patient record from Graham. Research journal.
Of course.
This must be the machine that was supposed to bring them to life. I just get there. A Raven Wing. A new two-hander. Do I have her two-hander versus this one? Let's see. So it's weaker and it's slower. I don't know if I want this. No, I don't believe I want that. I can get an enchant. Freezing Lash. I've been saving forever to do that. Yeah, one thing I haven't done in a while actually is see if I can make some boots or potions. Turns out I have lots of stuff for potions. I haven't been in here yet. It's because there's nothing actually in here, just a cage. Okay, back to Ethmower, the Ethmower. I think the quest is actually complete. Yeah, the Man Who Waits is actually complete, but we'll do the follow-up here. We'll tell this guy what happened and see how or if he reacts. I mean, he is a statue. I can't read that guy. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Ethmower the Unready. Oh, what the blazes happened down there? You were given permission to ask questions. As I was being influenced by a patient, but the patient really wasn't himself at the time. I have read accounts of people in history who could do what you describe. The accounts are few and brief and never reliable. Some go as far as to suggest that they are all the same person. If truly such a person was here among us, plotting our ruin, that I have body again and could be some real use in our time of need. I fear what the future may hold for this place. I'm grateful you were able to dispatch the threat before there was a loss of innocent life. We were nearly had another scandal on our hands. What of Azo? What part of that experiment play in this catastrophe? I confronted Azo. I was forced to kill him. Such a waste. There was none more gifted working here. In time, I had hoped to rehabilitate his image, but a mind like his, so full of ideas, leaves little room for patience. I would inquire more into the matter, but in truth, you have done this institution a favor. Were his transgressions ever to reach the public, there would be a terrible uproar. I was blind to have trusted him in a second time. I trust you will be more cautious in future inquiries. Okay, so that is that.